This is probably what you think VRChat is all about.
What?
Please do not walk through me.
What?
Be careful. I got yelled at too for walking through her, so be careful.
Water has severe phantom sense, so please try to not walk through her, or you will be removed from this instance.
Don't accept that guy's friend request.
Why?
Get the fuck away, bro. What kind of creeper shit is that, bro? We're both hanging out together, and she's a chick, so you're gonna send her a friend request?
Although you might think that's what VRChat is, this is really VRChat. Now, a lot of you might think that VRChat is full of furries, e-dating, and a lot of weirdos and a lot of weird stuff. Which, again, I've seen my fair share of furries and everything in the VRChat community. Which, don't get me wrong, to each their own, but rather it be the YouTubers or just the players themselves, there is a crazy amount, I might say, of furries and just weird people within the VRChat community. But because of this, I think that the VRChat game itself is very overlooked, even by people like myself who have this misconception of the game and the reputation of the game itself. Because I'll be honest, after seeing videos myself from people like Proximity Chat and even, you know, other YouTubers who make tutorials for VRChat, like uploading avatars, stuff like that, I made my own assumption about the community and the game itself, that it was full of just furries and weird people that I just did not want to interact with at all. But after playing VRChat for a while myself, I come to the conclusion that that's just not the case. So I'm here to give you an insight on what I found while being a part of VRChat game. Now, the whole way I got into VRChat is because I'm a flight sim VR enjoyer myself. I like games like VTOL VR, War Thunder, and even VFM, things like that, where I can hop in a plane, get the full experience of the cockpit, and feel like I'm flying in the air in real life. I was trying to find that experience within the Quest standalone, you know, without having to have a PC VR, and it was super hard to find. That's when I came across the virtual reality show, and I saw that she had made a video about Black Aces.
What might just be my most complex virtual adventure yet. Welcome to the Black Aces.
And after I saw that video and how in depth that the planes were and the tournaments, even their Discord server, I decided to give it a look. And this is how I was broken to the world of VRChat. And just like the virtual reality show where she goes into super depth into the Black Aces, and you also have YouTubers like Tawong Man, who also got me into the game just from how he went to hit depth about, you know, the drifting community within the game, and not even just the community, but again the mechanics and the cars themselves within the VRChat world. These aren't just worlds that were thrown together real quick. They're put together by communities and people who really love what they're doing and what they're creating. And that's the whole reason I've fallen in love with the game itself. Like this world here, this airport that I'm in at VRChat, the cockpits are fully functional. I mean, you have your sticks, you have the control of the flaps, you have control of the gears going up, your flight limits, cruise control. You have multiple seats for not only yourself but your friends and passengers. It goes so in depth. Now, don't get me wrong, just because there are a few cool worlds, I still do think there's some weird worlds within VRChat that probably need to be looked into or just left alone altogether. Like the fact that there's an Omegle in VRChat. I mean, we already know how the Omegle in real life went. I don't think we need one in VRChat where there's a bunch of furries and freaked out guys. And outside all the worlds that I enjoy myself, like the drifting or the flights, and outside the worlds that I enjoy myself, like the drifting or the flight sim, you have simple stuff in VRChat, just like this simple studio. You can come in here, record stuff with your friends, rather it be a podcast, a music video, or, you know, even just a freestyle. You want to be cool, you know, funny with a couple of your friends. They even have this camera in the back here that you can use to actually record and move around within the world itself. Like, there's so much functionality and so much that you can experience within VRChat that I think a lot of people don't even know about because of how weird, or because of the reputation that VRChat has. And as much as I enjoy the VRChat worlds, they would literally be nothing without the community that's so creative and that brings them to life. And it goes to even more in depth outside of just the worlds themselves. It goes in with the avatars, because even though again you see a lot of these super jigulated avatars and these furries with tails and big breasts and all like that, there's actually super creative avatars and super fun avatars within VRChat that would actually make someone join solely based off those alone. I feel like there's a lot of super creative, unappreciated avatars and creativity within VRChat because they get overlooked by basically almost every avatar being based around a furry. Now, even though the VRChat community is just full of weird avatars, the furries that have the over-stimulating breasts and stuff like that, you have really cool avatars made by authors that go into really depth when it comes to the characters they want to make within this game, because not only are they making them for VRChat games, they could be making them for short films or anything. That's one thing I've come to learn about VRChat, is although it is a game, there's a community outside of it that makes films, makes avatars, make worlds, and it's full of creative people, and they come up with stuff like this. And this is just one of the many avatars that I've come across that I've actually liked and enjoyed. Like even here, I'm pretty sure this is an avatar in VRChat you've never seen. This is an anime girl avatar with a fully functional piece of power armor from Fallout that you can actually enter. I'll even demonstrate it here now. And see, now I'm actually entered into the power armor, can walk around with it, anything, can cut this flashlight off, and much more. And to be honest, that's just the beginning of the avatars. As you can see, I just changed my avatar to a character from Demon Slayer. I had another avatar from Jujutsu Kaisen, and I have multiple avatars from Naruto. There's a plethora of avatars that are community created. And again, those are just a few options of what I found so far within VRChat. There are thousands and thousands of options to choose from. You can avoid being a furry yourself and picking one of those avatars. There are simple things like Demon Slayer characters or Naruto characters. And again, there's nothing wrong going to be a furry or using those avatars. But again, for those who have this misinterpretation or reputation that VRChat is only furries and only for the furry community, that's just so often so wrong. Now, after going through the avatars and going through the worlds, running into some really cool people, meeting new friends, I've come to the conclusion that VRChat is just not as weird and as bad as everybody thinks or makes it out to be. And don't get me wrong, I understand where this reputation comes from. Now, even with such a poor reputation or just, bad outlook, I'm so happy I decided to take the opportunity for myself and actually go through VRChat and experience it for what it really does have to offer. Because again, not sponsored or anything, I believe that VRChat might be one of the best VR experiences out there currently. If you enjoy the anime girls or the furry communities themselves, especially within VRChat, you're more than welcome to each their own, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's just a lot of people out there who don't understand it nor enjoy that type of environment, so they're looking for something different. And even though they might think that's what VRChat's all about, I just want them to know that no, it's not. Within VRChat, you have flight simulators, you have PvP matches, you have the drifting community, you even have things that you could play like Sims within VRChat. There's so much you could do outside of just the norm of what you might see for VRChat when it comes to hanging out in bars, or you see the ERP family, or you see the RP families. You see things like RP dating, all those are elements within VRChat. It's not fully VRChat. Just like everyone else, I had, completely judged VRChat beforehand and judged the community beforehand. And because of that, I do want to apologize to them because I was completely wrong about everything. Now, I based VRChat off of some of the most cringiest, weirdest, and loudest moments that I've saw on the internet. Even coming from guys like Proximity Chat, even though I love what they do and the content they make, I saw stuff like that and had the wrong idea and a misconception about VRChat. And even though a lot of it may be right on the dot, it might be right, there's so much outside of all of that that no one ever sees that I believe should have an eye on it, because a lot of people would enjoy it if they actually got to play it themselves. It took me so long to find a flight simulator standalone within the quest, and the entire time VRChat had multiple instances where I could just hop into a fully functional plane and fly. Whether it be I wanted to dogfight, whether I wanted to fly up me and my friends in an airline, bus, anything like that, it was all available within VRChat itself. And because of the misconception I had about it, I was completely missing out on the full experience. Now, if you've learned anything from this video and now you want to try VRChat out for yourself, please do so, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to leave down below all the YouTubers I've met across the way, the worlds that you might have seen in this video, like the drift worlds with the BMW and the carriers. And with that being said, I hope you have a good one.